Welcome back. There is a new bill that would allow counties to levy a new property tax to support historical museums in the city of Detroit. Sounds like a good idea, but like any bill, there are some mixed reactions. So the chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, David Woodward, is here with us in studio to talk about his concerns with this proposed millage. Thank you for being here with us. Obviously, these museums need the help, and a lot of people want to see them get whatever support they need in order to keep thriving. But we are facing some issues here as far as how that's looking.
Certainly, and I think you're absolutely right. We completely agree that the Charles H. Wright Museum, the Detroit Historical Museum are incredible, important assets for this region. I'm an Oakland County chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, but from this region, they're important cultural assets. There are other important cultural assets that preserve history, remind us who we are, chart a course for the future. And so we certainly want to be working together to figure a way forward. This legislation that's moving through Lansing, we've been in conversation with a lot of the advocates for a very long time. We've made requests for information. There are fundamental policy, financial, and structural concerns of how this authority would work, and as written currently, doesn't have the support of myself in Oakland County.
And when you look specifically at that language and how it is written, why is it so crucial that we pay attention to those details and what's in it?
Certainly. I mean, I'm a former state legislator. I've been on the board in Oakland County for a number of years. I've been involved with the Zoo Authority, the Arts Authority that helps support the DIA, so I'm no stranger to this. We were assured that this legislation wouldn't move forward without the support of Oakland County. It's been known from the beginning that the advocates for this would be looking to Oakland County voters and taxpayers to be part of this. We're talking the threshold for the amount of money this authority could raise, as is currently written, is twice as much of any other authority. We're talking upwards of $35 million a year. And so we're talking, that's a sizable contribution. We want to make certain to look out not only for our taxpayers, but how do we do this right? First and foremost, I don't think that we've fully exhausted all the ways to help support institutions like the two museums that this legislation is designed to support exclusively. I think it's important that we look at all similar institutions that are regional draws that help make Metro Detroit the great place that it is. And then I think we need to look about what's allowable and not allowable for these resources to be used. As it's been reported that there's a lot of deferred maintenance on these buildings. Who owns that responsibility? How much are we talking? Who bears the responsibility of paying for that? And so these are all like details that are necessary. I've made myself available. I know that the executive office has made their self available. And frankly, these things haven't been resolved. If Oakland County is to be a partner in this, you can't run a piece of legislation and not give us the heads up you're about to try to get a vote and turn it into law. So that's very unfortunate, incredibly frustrating, but we all agree that these museums are important. They're important to our community, and I'm committed to continue being part of the conversation.
And important to note, County Executive Dave Coulter also in opposition of the way it's written right now.
As the bills are written, they're inadequate, unacceptable, and he's made those statements publicly as well.
Do you have anything to say to people who are in opposition or critical of your stance on this issue?
Well, I'd be curious about what that question is. I don't think anyone would say that I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the dollars raised are spent in a way that's in accordance with the priorities of the taxpayers and the voters of Oakland County. We have cultural institutions that are equally important to this region in Oakland County, currently as written, not part of this equation at all. We have other historical museums that are throughout the region that don't receive the level of support. The fact that we're talking about twice as much of an authority that could levy twice as much taxes as any other authority that we have in place in this model, not appropriate. And at the end of the day, if we're going to work together to solve these solutions, you can't run bills without getting the support of the partners you want to march with you. And so I think that's the key message. I'll take the call as a message from anyone who wants to talk about this. I believe I am a big fan of both of these two institutions, and I think that there are things that we can explore working together to figure out a way to help make sure that they have the resources necessary to keep their doors open and be places that not only do we learn about our past, but more importantly, to chart a better future together.
Absolutely. Celebrate the past, but honor the future as well. In doing that, this is going to take compromise on both sides. What are you ultimately hoping to see in the end?
Well, like I said, I mean, I've been involved in past authorities that were used to gain public support, to support cultural institutions that are important to the area. I would hope that we would follow that same path to get a successful resolution like we did with past efforts. And I'm optimistic that there's a way to have that conversation. But as the bills are written now, they are unacceptable. And frankly, the advocates know that. And so it's disappointing that they ran the bill through a committee process. Again, like I said, I'm a former lawmaker. This is a process that, I mean, moves back and forth. There's a lot of negotiation. Oakland County's made requests for information. We hope that we honor those requests are honored, we get that information, and then we can continue having conversations. But as it stands right now, this is not the vehicle to produce the resolution that I think everyone wants, which is to make sure that the Charles H. Wright, the Detroit Historical Museum, and frankly, all equivalent organizations throughout Metro Detroit have the support they need.
Yeah, and for the sake of these museums, we certainly hope we can get to some kind of resolution soon.
Right. And I would encourage, I mean, all your viewers to, if you haven't been to those museums in a long time, check them out because they are incredible sources of information, but it's a reminder of why this is just a great place to live.
Got it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much.